So, sorry. I didn't get a chance last night to see if the Zoom works in here. I have horrible migraine, so I just went home and curled in a fetal position and laid in bed. So, I don't know if you guys have ever had a migraine. They're the devil. Okay, first things first. I see a couple of new faces. You guys are here for equine reproduction, correct? Everybody's still here for that? Okay. I have an update on the mask situation. So the president and provost has allowed, in the classroom anyways, the instructors indiscretion, or not indiscretion, that would be weird, discretion as to whether we use masks or not. So it is my personal opinion, this is nothing with the university, my personal opinion is as long as you guys are separate and don't sneeze or lick each other. I know it's very enticing to lick each other's faces. I have a 9.5-month-old at home, and his new thing is licking everything. It's incredibly fun. I don't mind if we take our masks off. Does anybody have a serious opposition to that opinion? So if you feel comfortable, you can take your mask off. If you don't feel comfortable, keep your mask on. I'm fine. Okay, cool. And seriously, guys, if you don't feel comfortable, just tell me, especially if you don't want to say it in front of the class, just tell me afterwards or email me or something and say, Dr. Owen, I don't feel comfortable with this, and we'll put I'll make sure all of our masks are back on. I don't mind. But we are going to maintain social distancing. This classroom is cleaned regularly. I will not sneeze on any of you, I promise. Okay? Make sure that you guys do not come to class if you have any signs or symptoms of COVID, or even just any illness. Again, I don't want any of your germy buggy things, because even if it's not COVID, I've had that once. It's not great, but it's what I had was not terrible. But I still don't want strep throat, a cold, the flu, etc., etc. Okay? I am a horrible, horrible person, and I forgot to put your lecture notes on D2L, I'm sorry. So, we'll be working off of the lecture notes. It's the same lecture notes as last semester, or last year, almost. Last year, I had to have Mr. Wells do the lab portion because I was heavy bred at that time and I could not handle a stallion. And halfway through, I had my son. So a couple of those things might change. I am the peer instructor for everything. Shannon Park is still your TA. Kalita Mendoza is no longer here. She graduated. So if you see any of that on the slides, that is what is going on. Also, you guys will have a couple of assignments on D2L. Do me a favor. Count and see how many lab safety contracts I have. There's a lab safety contract, and there's a student conduct contract. See how many sets I have of that, please. Thank you. I need you guys to do an OSHA form. I will be putting a link on D2L for that. You guys cannot be around animals or touch an animal unless you have an OSHA form completed. If you did one last semester, it's still valid. Don't do it again. All you're going to have to do is submit that email saying, congratulations, you completed your OSHA form on that assignment that I'll put on D2L, and it's worth 10 points. It's either you did it or you didn't. Okay, does that make sense? Okay. Again, I'm sorry, I'll put that on D2L. I had some technology errors yesterday, or issues with another class, so I had to have Dr. Clemens teach me how to fix those. So, and if anybody knows how to use a GoPro, I would really appreciate a tutorial, because I'm going to try and use the GoPro and video, like either Lindsay or me collecting Raymond, or Nathan actually handling Raymond, or, you know, when I'm actually processing the semen, so you guys can actually see like what I'm doing to practice with, or God forbid we go on totally online again, I can at least kind of show you what we're doing. okay? But I have no idea how to use them, so I would love a tutorial if y'all know how to use one.
Using it's not really the hard part. It's when you have to upload the video from the GoPro onto the computer.
Oh, really?
Because usually, honestly, using it, you turn the button on, power thing, you make sure it's on video mode, and then you press record.
Oh,
But then,
I've never used one.
yeah, and then there's like, you know, a cord and stuff you use to connect it to your computer, and then that's just the hard part is getting it just from there.
Nathan used it last semester.
Yeah, so that was our old GoPro. We have a brand new one, like top of the line GoPro. I don't know. They got us a brand new
Is it
booger.
like new as in like the last couple weeks new or something?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, maybe.
And I think he used one last semester, but he wasn't able to like download the video or something. There was something with the uploading.
Do you know who Jules Springer is?
Mhm.
So she knows how to use that. We have a
Really?
meeting on Thursday. I can ask her to show me and then I can show you.
That would be fabulous. Thank you. There's what?
16.
16. There's not that many. Okay, sweet. We'll just do that today. So, take a set, pass it on. I will also put a set of these on D2L. Don't do them twice. That's a waste of your time and no offense mine. But I have to have these in order for you guys to be in class, and if you don't turn them in and I don't have all of them, I get on the naughty list, and I do a good enough job being on the naughty list. I don't need your help. Okay? Again, you guys will have a syllabus quiz next week, so I recommend you read it. We did have a vote last week for those of you who were not here, or not last week. Monday, we had a vote on Monday that we will be taking exams in class, but on D2L. So bring something that you can D2L with in class, so that if, again, I have technology issues, which I have a lot of, I'll be honest, you guys can ask, or if one of the pictures didn't show up correctly, I can address that then, stuff like that. Does that make sense? If you guys need an interface, again, I have my tablet. I'll make sure and bring my laptop on exam days, and you guys can utilize my stuff as well. You guys will need to have a calculator. You cannot use your phone as a calculator. You can go, to the Dollar Tree and get a calculator for $1.07, I think. That's with tax. Okay, I think, especially with me not making you guys buy a book, you guys can afford a $1 calculator. If you already have one of those fancy schmancy TI-83, or I don't even know what number they're on anymore, the scientific calculator, I don't care, you can use that. But all you need is a calculator that can do basic math, addition, subtraction, division, multiplication stuff, okay? Make sure and do the lab safety rules and regulations contract. Put today's date, print your name prettifully, sign it, okay? The class number and section is EQSC-343.01L. Do I need to write that down somewhere? Okay. I brought my dry erase markers today, so. Because half of those don't work. Okay, what is your professor's name?
Dr. Owen.
Dr. Owen. There's only one of me, guys. There's no S on my name. Okay? A lot of people do it. It's not a big deal. You can sit up there. I mean, you can sit there too if you want. Okay, it's whatever makes you comfortable. I do, it's okay. Just so you know, I do have my tablet behind you.
Okay,
So I may get a little bit of the back of your head, if that's okay.
that's totally fine.
Can I post it with the back of your head on it?
Do you want me to move?
No, it's up to you.
I can move like
That's okay.
that works.
Okay. And we have agreed that if you feel comfortable, you can take your mask off.
Okay.
If you don't feel comfortable, you can keep it on.
Okay.
Do you have an opposition to all of us having our mask off?
Okay.
This is a really touchy subject, guys, so I'm like treading as lightly as I can. By the way, when addressing a professor, don't say yo or what up, dog. Okay? And I really hate being called Dr. O. I have 4 letters in my last name. It's not that hard. So, you may hear Shannon irking me by saying, yo, Dr. O, because so much. I have a few pet peeves, and that is definitely one of them. Aside from that, don't call me Megan. I've worked really hard to get my doctor title, so please call me Dr. Owen or Professor. That's fine with me. Any questions on the syllabus? I can't really talk about our group project until Lindsay gets here, so that I can make sure that the stipulations on the group project outline is okay with her, and she's currently on her honeymoon. Because she literally got married Saturday. Okay, so I know we said we'd talk about that today, but I can't. Alright, so again, these are actually the notes from last spring. No, your lab instructor is not Mr. Wells, it is me. Okay? Alright, so real quick, if you've had classes with me before, you've heard this a million times, I'm sorry, but I am born and raised in Albuquerque, New Mexico, so I am not a Texan. Some people hold that against me. I got my bachelor's degree at New Mexico State, which is in Las Cruces, New Mexico. It's 45 minutes from the border, so we had really awesome Mexican food. Y'all don't know what Mexican food is around here. It's really sad. Okay, makes me really sad. After I graduated there, I went to Colorado State University and did a 1-year internship at the Equine Reproduction Lab. I was the first student from New Mexico State to do that. It was a lot of fun. I foaled out over 40 mares there. I helped with several surgeries. I helped with embryo transfer, EQSC, stuff like that. A lot of stallion stuff. And that's where I really secured the love of equine repro. Like, this is my happy place, guys. This is my favorite subject in the entire world. Okay? After that, I got a job at Alpha Equine in Granbury, Texas, where I was a vet tech / equine reproduction assistant. I foaled out over 75 mares. We did a lot more embryo transfer, collected the stallions. I did a lot more actual vet work there, so a lot of shots, drawing blood, running blood work, etc., etc. So I have been a vet tech before, and then I was like, screw this vet tech business, I want to be a vet. So I went back to Las Cruces, started taking my science prereqs, because I was industry option during my bachelor's. Started taking my science prereqs, took OChem 1. I was like, this is cool. I'm a nerd, I really love OChem. Our OChem professor was really nuts. Like, I really think he should have been committed, because he taught us how to make explosives and meth and everything. Like, not actually like physically show us, but like on the board. I'm pretty sure they based Breaking Bad off of him. But anyways, he really made me enjoy OChem, and then I took Physics 1. I don't know if you've ever taken physics. It's the bane of my existence. The only class I ever burned my notes. Let's put it that way. So after that, I was like, this is stupid. I'm not gonna do another one. I was like, well, I still want to be a doctor. And during that same semester, I was a chemistry supplemental instruction facilitator. So, you know the tutorial class you guys have to take for chemistry? And there's an upperclassman teaching those? That's what I did. But I had a hell of a lot of fun with it. I brought in like balloons, and we brought in food and did all kinds of activities. It was so much fun. So I got the teaching bug, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So I went to my advisor and I was like, okay, I want to be a doctor, but I kind of want to teach because it's really fun. I love that light bulb moment. I love showing you guys, like, if you do this and this, oh my God, this happens. Okay? It's really, really cool. So he's like, well, you got to get your doctorate. I'm like, oh God, that's so much school. And he's like, it's fine. So I had to do my master's first, and he's like, well, you can either do it in cattle or with sheep. I was like, okay, cattle. He's like, well, we don't have anybody to teach you. So you're making me do sheep. I said, yep. You want your master's, you do sheep. I hated sheep before that because I worked on the farm, and if you've ever been around sheep, they really look for a place to die. And I'm not trying to be mean or anything, guys, but they die really easy. Okay? They look at barbed wire and they're like, oh, let's go try ourselves. Anyways, I ended up really loving sheep after my master's project. He made me see the light, I guess. I really do love sheep now. After that, I went to the deep south, kind of. I went to Starkville, Mississippi, did my doctorate there at Mississippi State. First week I was there, everybody thought I was nuts because I'm from New Mexico, you know. What's something we really don't have in New Mexico? Water. So, Mississippi has a lot of water. And they had all these puddles. And I'm such a big kid. I'm like, oh, puddle. And I go jump in and play in it. So I did that like the first week. And they're like, you're an idiot. I'm fun. Anyways, that wore off really quick because there's a lot of water there. And they have bugs, like a lot of bugs. And cockroaches that fly that are like this freaking big. I didn't know cockroaches can fly. And they have mosquitoes that like can take your cat away. They're insane. Anyways, I had a lot of fun there. I then started here at Commerce in, 3 years ago this spring, actually. So I've been here for about 3 years. So I'm still kind of new at this whole teaching thing. I'm really excited about teaching. I'm super excited to be back in the classroom with you guys. I hated teaching online. So, anyways, follow the syllabus. Terminology. I told you guys last time I love memes, so if you guys find one, I will. And I thought this was super cute. So, a lot of this is going to be very basic, I know, but I want to make sure all of us are on the same page. Okay? So, this is literally a cut and paste slide from your intro notes if you took it with me. Okay? So, horses is a species. Okay? A group of horses is technically a band. It's not a herd, technically. I don't care if you call it a herd. But I will use those terms interchangeably, especially on your exam. So if you see band on your exam, I'm not talking about like drum band, music band. The adjective is equine, okay? The genus and species is Equus cabeus. Those are the domestic horses anyways. The act of parturition, what is parturition again? Giving birth. It is foaling. The general term for young horses is a foal, okay? So some of you may say, oh, that's a nice colt. That's great if it's a boy baby horse. But if it's a girl baby horse, it is a filly, okay? If you don't know, default, it's a pretty foal, okay? Young male is a colt. Doesn't matter if it's been gelded or not. Usually that refers to any young animal that's less than 2 years old. That's a male, okay? A young female, again, less than about 2 years old, is a filly. A mature male that is not castrated, neutered, sterilized, whatever you want to call it, still has his cojones. It is a stallion or a stud. Okay? Does that make sense? All right. A mature female, whether she's given birth or not, pretty much anything 3 years or older is a mare, okay? They don't have terminology if you sterilize a mare, so if you overrectomize a mare, which we may or may not do this semester, I'm not sure. If you overrectomize a mare, it's still a mare. It's still a female horse, okay? But if you castrate a male horse, it's then a gelding, okay? It's not a gelding, but if that helps you spell it, okay, it's a gelding. It's a gelding, okay? Any questions on this terminology? Okay, I figured this is kind of basic, but. Other terms and symbols, I get lazy when I'm writing stuff on the board, okay? So if I put a circle with an arrow on it, that's a male. A circle with an arrow and an X through the arrow means it's castrated. Means he's not quite a boy anymore. I have 2 not quite a boys in the barn over there. And we may actually use them for demonstrations and stuff. If you see a circle with a plus sign on it, that means it's a female. A stud, obviously we use this synonymous with a stallion, but also it is a place where stallions are kept. So a stud, depending on the context, could be a place where stallions are kept, where they collect semen and preserve his genetic material, or it can be the actual horse itself, okay? Does that make sense? Okay. A jack and a jennet. A jack is a male donkey. Yes, this is a jackass. No, that is not cursing because it is a technical term. A jennet is a female donkey. Mule is a jack and a mare. But if you flop that around and you have a stallion and a jennet, then you actually have a hinny. Okay? Are mules and hinnies fertile? No? Why?
Yeah, 63 chromosomes.
So,
So they can't, it's not even, they can't contribute.
very good. Yeah. So the offspring has 63 chromosomes. There's not even, so they can't contribute to the genetic material of offspring appropriately. Very good. Okay? Can a female, I'm sorry, yes.
I just want to tell you that your video is backwards.
Here, I'll